Hello, my name is Bob Chiravelli. I'm a practicing labor lawyer and founder of Strategic Labor and Human Resources, a firm that advises organizations on their workplace issues and people-related challenges. I've devoted my professional life to understanding the workplace, the challenges of working people, the organizations that employ them and represent them, and the government institutions that control and regulate them. Since the enactment of the National Labor Relations Act in 1935, developing labor law has changed, almost without exception, as the political winds of the presidency and Congress have changed. It will be no different with the change from President Trump to President Biden and his administration as it relates to the National Labor Relations Board. Unlike the federal judiciary, where judges are appointed for life, the president appoints members of the board and its general counsel at the end of their fixed terms. And with each change, political biases can lead to dramatic shifts in the interpretation of the act and its developing labor law. So what should we expect for at least the next 4 years? Biden's big first change at the top. One remarkable action of President Biden was the termination of the National Labor Relations Board General Counsel that was appointed by President Trump. In the past, presidents have waited for the end of the General Counsel's term of office to make changes. This is an important change because the GC decides which cases are prosecuted and which are not. Therefore, terminating the GC will change which cases go to the board. Since the board also has rulemaking authority, it is likely that rules governing organizing, collective bargaining, and other worker protections will also change to favor unions. In both the case of the GC and the board, the impact on labor policy is often characterized as a flip-flop. So how does the majority of the NLRB change? A full board has 5 members. The majority of the NLRB members under the Trump administration were Republicans, and under the Biden administration, the NLRB will most likely begin to turn Democratic as members' terms expire. We have Lauren McFerrin, a Democrat, who is the chair. Her term expires in 2024. William Emanuel, a Republican, his term ends in 2021. John Ring, a Republican, will have a term ending in 2022. Marvin Kaplan, a Republican, will have a term that ends in 2025. And there's still one seat open on the National Labor Relations Board to which President Biden can appoint somebody. As early as the summer of 2021, President Biden will most likely be able to gain a majority of the board seats with Democratic Party affiliation. So how will a Biden NLRB impact union organizing? Since 2015, unions have been winning significantly more than 50% of the organizing drives to unionize workers at companies, and the percentages have been increasing annually. The COVID-19 pandemic, however, has impacted organizing in their frequency and win rates during the worst part of the shutdown. Unions during this period lost more than they won during October 2020, but since October, they've regained their strong showing at the ballot box. One possible explanation has been an almost complete transition from manual ballot elections to mail-in ballot elections. Many management labor lawyers have objected to this transition on the grounds of a union's undue influence on voters. But NLRB regional directors across the country have broad unilateral and unappealable powers to require mail-in ballot elections. With a more liberal board, we should expect more favorable decisions and rulemaking to favor unions. How will a Biden presidency impact NLRB decisions and labor law reform? It is clear that President Biden will support legislation such as the PRO Act, which in many ways is similar to the Obama-era Employee Free Choice Act in its attempt to reform the National Labor Relations Act. Under the PRO Act, unions will be favored with more lenient election rules and faster organizing in elections, and probably more importantly, reclassification of independent contractors to regular employees protected under the Act and eligible to vote in union elections. As the board becomes more democratic, be prepared to see the strengthening of union and worker rights. It is less clear, however, how the board will deal with an employer's obligation to negotiate when the employer takes quick actions during the COVID-19 pandemic The board will flip-flop and become more liberal in its support of unions and workers' rights and more scrutinous of employer actions that restrict those rights. Although unions have continually lost membership since President Reagan permanently replaced air traffic controllers during the PATCO strike, unions have exhibited the ability to win a much higher percentage of their recent organizing drive elections. It is unlikely that President Biden will be able to sign any major labor law reform, but if he does, it will be historic because no president since before Jimmy Carter has been able to do so. Because of a new presidential administration and the added impact of the pandemic, now is a good time for employers, unions, and workers to review their strategies and directives. Thank you for your attention. I'll see you at the next episode.